Okay, we left off 154. We should, okay. Second paragraph. He's been speaking about how one is able to come and grasp and have relevance to appreciate and internalize the concept of Yichud Hashem, unity of God, where you come to a point where a person doesn't have to visualize anything. It's like understanding from how God affects existence, and your understanding of God is beyond anything which can be visualized. Anything could be visualized. What undermines, he says, precludes wholehearted unity of God, harbi mehen l'shati v'borei wal koponim mehem emunas balei ashnios balei ashilush. I mean, it's understood. Belief of the dualists or the Trinitarians. No, there are other powers. See, it's not simple. You know, if you read the Ramchal and especially Das Tvunos, what is an angel? An angel is an agent of God. Now, why does the angel function exactly in the capacity that it functions? Because God wills it, gives it its ability to function in that. So what does God need angels? God does anything in either case. The human being, he gave us free choice. So we are able to function independent of God. Of course, he gives us the ability to function, but even to do things contrary to his will, we have that ability. But an angel doesn't. So if God, it's like a puppeteer. So if that's the case, what do we need? What does God need angels? So that's to understand. But factually, there are angels. So if that's the case, there's something outside of God, although the angel cannot do differently than God. So if you see and understand that they're angels, and you allow that somehow to infringe on your understanding of the unity of God, that somehow it blurs the reality. You don't fully grasp it. It precludes it. I'll give you an example. It says on the first day of creation, Vayera vayivoke yom echod. Then on the second day it says Yom Sheni. So the Midrash asks, what does it say Yom Rishon? You have Rishon, Sheni, first, second. Echod means one. It was one day. So there are many answers. So Rashi cites one answer in the Midrash. He goes, in the first day of creation, the angels were not yet created. The angels were only created on the second day of creation. That's Rashi, cites the Midrash. So the Maral explains, Rashi to mean, the Chazal, the Midrash, that if you have angels, you learn the Gemara in Chagiga discusses, you have an angel, the Chayos HaKodesh, whatever it means, that the thigh of a Chayos HaKodesh, the length of the thigh, to travel the length is 500 years. This is the angel. And we speak about the Seraphim of Fani HaKodesh, all the different angels. We're talking about a level of dimension it's not to be fathomed. So if you can't fathom the angel, could you fathom God? But having that blurs, that detracts from appreciating God. It detracts from it. The first day, it's echod. Even though second day, it's also echod. But the perception and the internalization of echod, the second day is not the same as the first day. That's why only the first day, before the angels were created, was Vayera Vayvoke Yom Echod. There was only one thing in existence. Indisputable, without a question, blatantly clear, beyond any question, it's echod. Second day, you have to understand. Because you can confuse it. And what's the basis for idolatry? You believe the deity is independent of God because of the dimension of the deity, of the power. But the power itself is only manifestation of Hashem. But it's not so simple any longer. I think that's what he means. We're talking, a person believes in Hashem, but if you allow there are other things, the dualists or the Trinitarians, whatever he says, this actually precludes and it undermines the understanding of what Yichud Hashem is. Umehem avodas hatzuros v'hashemesh v'yireach v'amazolos Veish v'atzmochim v'achayos. He says people, they worship forms. The luminaries, the sun, the moon, the zodiac, fire. You know, people, they worship nature, botany, animals. Where it says there was one society that they worshipped the dog. What in China, what is the year of the rat or the year of the weasel? What is it? I don't know what it is. Okay? That's what they believe in these things. No, the sheep and the goat. The sheep and the goat. I understand that. Nobody says they worship anything. All aspects of nature. Because nature is what? Is a manifestation of what? Of a spiritual entity. They actually, hakshomas, they give physical attributes to God, to be able to relate to God. Excuse me. Behem hashituf hanelam. This is the shituf. This is the whole discussion, Christianity versus if a non-Jew, discussed this in Avodah Zarah. Is a Christian, is he considered a pagan? He believes in God, but he believes in the Trinity. Is it a problem? For a Jew, there's not even a question, it's idolatry. That's considered idolatry. The question is, for a non-Jew, is that called idolatry? So there's a famous Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says that although it's cited, that shituf means the Trinity, where you have somebody beside you. Believe in God, but there's the son and there's the mother and there's the cousin, right? Doesn't make a difference. He says, he's gone through the Bavli and Yerushalmi. He says there's no such source, and there's no difference between what idolatry is for a Jew, that's idolatry for a non-Jew. He says, in that it's cited, they cite a Meiri and Avodah Zarah, which indicates differently. He says, Talmud Torah. Somebody had inserted in the Meiri, it has no validity whatsoever. And there's no difference between a Jew and a non-Jew regarding restrictions and provisions. Idolatry is forbidden for a Jew and a non-Jew, and what's considered for one is considered to the other. Therefore, a non-Jew is not permitted to be a Christian is considered idolatry. No, we're talking about the Rambam ruled a Jew, it would be Islam. Does a Jew have to give his life? Christianity, definitely a Jew has to give his life. We're talking about what about the non-Jew? Regarding what? Islam? No. Which we showed him held? Christianity? Less mandapolik. Nobody argues. The Rambam never spoke about this. No. Rambam spoke about Islam. There's the famous letters of the Rambam, right? Because in Yemen, there were forced conversions to Islam. Do they have to give their lives? So since Islam is monotheistic, they don't. That's what he ruled. A Jew's permitted to go into a mosque. You're not permitted to go into a church. A church is idolatry. A mosque is not idolatry. That's the difference. So if you want to use the restroom in a mosque, it's not a question of Marasayan. The church, you have to go find a McDonald's. There it's Marasayan. Some other problem. Right? To be continued.